Hi, Matt with eTrailer. If you have a 2022 Toyota 4Runner and you're looking for something for those vacations where you're running out of space because maybe you got a whole lot of luggage in the back of your vehicle that you can't fit it all in one location, or you just have some longer items in general that don't fit well in your 4Runner, then the Malone AirFlow2 Roof Rack is going to be a great option for those occasions. So let's check it out. Now you have a new spot to put all your additional gear. So if you have anything longer like kayak carriers or ski carriers, or maybe you just have a lot of extra stuff you need to carry, you'll even be able to use a rooftop box as well. And what I like about this is it's keeping all that gear in just one footprint on top of your vehicle, instead of making your vehicle longer like if you were going to use a larger cargo carrier or even a trailer. Now this kit is going to come in just two pieces. And what I like, these are really just built into one another to start off with, so you don't have to worry about losing them. And really the two pieces are going to be our 50-inch crossbars up top, and then our towers on the bottom. Taking a closer look at this crossbar, we're going to have this arrow shape to it, where it's thicker on one side and then tapers in on the back side. That's going to make it more aerodynamic. Something else that's going to help it be more aerodynamic is going to be this T-channel up at the top. You're going to have this rubber weather strip here, preventing wind from getting in there, and it's also going to prevent any debris or water from soaking up and sitting in here too. And what's great about a T-channel is if you have any clamp-on accessories that don't really play nicely with these crossbars, you can use this instead, and it's going to help you give more real estate. Now the issue with that T-channel I find sometimes though is if you have any larger blocks where those T-channels use to slide into place, that can be kind of difficult to slide in here, but if they're thinner, you shouldn't have any issues. And I do like we do have this tab that makes that process a little bit more simple to do. You also have another T-channel on the bottom of these crossbars, and that's how you're going to mount your towers. Some features I really like about this is it does come with a lock core. That's nice that we get that right out of the bag. And you're going to have this built-in Allen key to it. That's nice that this Allen key is built in because it's going to be harder to lose this way. Everything's in one location. And these towers do have a pretty sleek design to them. Nothing too crazy. But what I'm really liking at this moment is actually how these towers are grabbing onto our rails. Because this is really flush fit. And even the bottom here is wrapping around a little bit, and that's giving me a lot more peace of mind. I like the way that looks. Now, one issue I do have with these towers is this rubber padding on the bottom of them. Because after a lot of use, we've noticed that they kind of loosen up and detach a bit, so that's something to really keep in mind if you are going to be using these a lot. Now we're going to get a few measurements just to see how this is going to live up here. So the first one I like to get is going to be the total distance underneath these crossbars, and that's going to be a little bit over 2.5 inches, which isn't too bad. Now if you have some larger, bulkier clamps, you might be kind of tight, or trying to tighten them down might be kind of difficult. Now that's one of the benefits of having that T-channel up top if you do run into that issue. Now for the total height it does sit up, that's going to be a little bit under 4 inches. And honestly, that's pretty low profile. I've seen some a lot higher than that. Now I do recommend just taking the total distance or the height of your vehicle, your crossbars, and then anything you have on top of that, just so you know what areas you can make it under. A spot to really think about would be a garage. And then right now, we do have a decent crossbar spread of about 29 inches. But as you can see, we still have plenty of room on the back of our roof, so if you need a wider spread, you can still definitely do that. That's one of the benefits of having a raised rail roof rack. We are going to have a decent amount of overhang on our crossbars. Now it's not going to stick out too much where you're going to bump your head on it, especially with it being this height. Now what I do like about this amount that we have hanging off on the edge, that's going to be perfect if you have any items that are a little bit harder to access, anything like ski carriers or snowboards, something that you're going to want closer to the side of your vehicle. And this will have a pretty decent weight capacity, but what's probably going to be your limiting factor is going to be your roof. So what I would recommend doing is finding that in your owner's manual and then going from the lowest rated component so you don't damage anything. If you're looking for something that's going to have a little bit more of a custom fit or a little bit more of an OEM finish, then I'd recommend checking out either a Thule or a 4Runner rack option, because some of those actually just sit on top of your rails and they're going to be a flush option, so we're not going to have any overhang. So if you're looking for something that's going to look a little bit nicer and last you a little bit longer too, those are probably going to be the better options. But if you're looking for more of those occasional uses, this is going to be one of your best bets. Now, if you are curious to see what this installation process looks like, just stay tuned and we'll walk you through the process. To start off with, I'm just going to grab that key. We're going to come over to this lock cord at the very back end of that tower. And right now we just have one of our regular lock cores. I'm going to just remove that and go to the other side and remove this other lock core. But with this one, it's going to be a little bit different because this one's going to have that built-in Allen key. I'm going to have both of those removed. Then I can start putting this on top of my roof. You want to make sure this is in the right orientation. So we're going to have this thicker side right here. We want that to be facing forward, and this thinner side facing behind us. I also like to make sure I spread out these towers a little bit, so a bit easier to put on top of our roof. And this process will be easier if you have another set of hands. Today I got Aiden with me to help me out. You can still do this by yourself, but now we're just going to loosely place this where we need it to sit, and then I can adjust it later on. At this point, we want to make sure everything is squared off. So to do that, I'm just going to find the distance where my first crossbar is going to sit. So I like using one point that's going to be the same on either side of your roof. A good point would be this cap right here. After, when you've established that distance, then you can move over to the second crossbar. And that's nice because since this rear one's already squared, when we find this one, we can square that one off as well after measuring on both sides. And then you can also find your crossbar spread. That's great because if you need to adjust this for whatever accessories you have, you can definitely do that. Check your overhang. So what I'm going to do is just measure from the end of that tower to the end of that crossbar right there. Do that on both ends, and you want to make sure that's the same on either side. If you have one side that's sticking out too far, like this one we have right now, then I recommend going to the longer one and just tapping on it. You just tap on that a little bit, measure again, and just make sure everything's even. We're now going to grab that lock cord with that Allen key at the very back of it and start using it to tighten this down. We're just going to find that we have this bolt in that tower. And this is great because all the pieces we need are just in one location. Now when you're doing this, I recommend only tightening this up enough we have a slight bit of pressure. Because if you do it too much, you're going to get an uneven fit, so you're just going to go back and forth a couple times until this is fully tightened down. And something you'll find too when you're tightening this and you're getting a fair bit of resistance is it's going to be hard to turn, especially with that crossbar at the top. Just kind of fighting us a bit when we're trying to get that full rotation. Now, I really only find that it's that much of an issue near the end, so not too bad. When you're done, you just remove that Allen key, and then we'll just push it back from whence it came, back in that hole. You just gotta line up that Allen key. Then we'll lock it back into place. And from here, we're just gonna give it a shake test too, just see how it's gonna hold up here. I'm just looking to make sure we're not getting any rattling, it's not shifting anywhere, and it feels good. And if it feels pretty good, you can load it up with whatever gear you have and take it out for a ride. But that's just a look at the Malone AirFlow2 Roof Rack on top of our 2022 Toyota 4Runner. I'm Matt, thanks for watching.